Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 291, Shinto, the Ancient Religion of Japan. This is a 56-page work, so it's rather short. It's part of the Creation series, so you know it's academic in tone. Link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon. Second and third links are to my books blogs. This one comes highly recommended as one of the Creation series works that's more about the history and ritual than about linguistics. Of course, the average reader wouldn't be able to recognize much about the Japanese language. I did have to modernize a few of the usages, like Tokyo was usually not spelled the same way that it is now in general parlance, especially for Americans. It was spelled with an I instead of a Y, so I like modernized some of these words. It does get a little bit into the meaning of the different conjunctive names of the deities and forces, because within Shinto, when you have some of these characters, a lot of times it's like a sort of a symbolic name, like empowered moon rock or something like that would be like a conjunction that would be used to describe something. And if that's not an authentic example, I'm just saying in general. Trying to pronounce some of these names would be, of course, fruitless for someone like me, not familiar necessarily with the finer aspects of the Japanese language. Mostly, this particular work is of note in part for its time period. In the 1920s, the Japanese were building their imperial navy and rapidly industrializing, and there's actually an entire section, this is the history buffs will love this part, there's an entire section on the change to contemporary, or it's still 100 years ago, then contemporary post-industrial Shinto practice and the ancient traditions. How there was Chinese influence, especially linguistically, into the way it was practiced initially, long before. And all things considered, it's a very good work. It is, though, more, it's occult in the sense that it's covering the aspects of ritualism and the different sort of priestly goings-ons of ancient Shinto. At the same time, though, it is strictly a work, technically, of religious history. So I would recommend it. If you're interested in that particular subject or Eastern religion in general, it definitely forms a good basis, and it does contain as well a bibliography of further works that you can refer to, both those that were cited in the text itself and a few others. So it's like a small library of Shinto literature, and I think there are a couple of inclusions in Eastern religion in general that simply talk about Shinto as well. So yes, definitely recommended. It is part of the Creation series. There are some people, I'm sure, that are big fans of that. But it was a very good series when made. It's like 20 different titles that they made, and then they went off into philosophy. Like, I did Epicurus, but I'm not gonna do a work on Stoic philosophy or Plato's school or something like that. It's not, that's a little bit too far from the core sort of mystical material that I'm inclined to release. Maybe in the future. Eventually there won't be any grimoires left to edit, so to speak. So again, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon. Second and third links are to my books blogs. That's about all. Peace out.